The first thing that we notice is that everything described in this passage has something to do with impossibilities and mirages. It talks about how things are not as they seem on the surface. The second thing we notice is how the boys all try to ignore the mirage since they can't reach it. By doing this, they're ignoring the unreachable civilization and staying on the cruel island. By combining the first two things we notice, we can see that the first one supports the second one. It shows how safety from human nature cannot be reached and they are just illusions that children have in mind. Just like how they always have adults who have their back when they need to, but those are just unneeded This passage uses a matter-of-fact tone and introduces the whole setting. The mood from the beginning is dejected and hopeless, where it uses words such as blatant impossibility, stunted, loomed, snapping sharps, or throbbing stars. It shows how they are basically in a sticky situation. It is impossible to escape this cruel island and join civilization again. The author's indifference when describing the view adds on to the hopelessness and the fear. It feels as if the boys are stranded on the island. All they can do is bluntly accept everything that comes at them. It shows that there is nothing else that they can do, and all they can do is lost. The only thing left is to wait for their fates to change in the hands of others. That's the only action left. Let's move on to the analysis of the diction. The first words or the phrases that I noticed before is the glittering sea and the blatant impossibility. I noticed them because the glittering sea gives a positive feeling while the blatant impossibility is negative and destroys all the possible hopes that they're a part of the first phrase. Noteworthy thing is that the diction in this paragraph is that it uses contradicting words to strengthen the point of the boys' miseries and hopelessness. If I were to separate out the important words and phrases, it will be blatant impossibility, stunted quiver, plucked apart, odd succession of mirrors, flicked out like a bubble, mirage, snapping sharks. These important words all have one thing in common. They're all negative or leaning to the negative connotation. They are used to describe the loss of hope and civilization in this community and on this island. It's either the words or phrase have a dejected feeling or a threatening tone. It seems as if the words palms, corals, mirror, raindrops, wire, bubble, and stars is oddly used. I think they are odd because they are used. Some of the words have double meanings. A palm is a symbol for victory, success, and peace. Raindrops put together with the word wire, it feels that the wire is so thin that the raindrops to cling hard to stay on. The bubble, from common knowledge, we know that they don't last long and pop easily. Stars represent the unknown. It may have three meanings in this passage. It can literally mean stars and the boys are having too much fun or trouble to even notice the stars. It can also mean the little things in life and how the boys are not paying attention to the obvious truth that stares at them in the face, but are blindly ignoring them. The third meaning may be a symbol of unknown and how they're trying hard to avoid it. Scattered throughout the whole book, we see parts where it shows the outside world is becoming more and more unreal and civilization is farther than ever. Also, the image of the boys standing by the sea and looking out at the horizon is repeated in the beginning. Boys look out at sea, longing for the boat to arrive and rescue them. However, as the story progresses, these sightseeing numbers decrease, and they seldom look out at the sea towards civilization. This passage can symbolize the work because it shows how civilization stops staying in the boys' minds. One unusual structure is that it is always a long sentence with a semicolon followed by a one-line long sentence. This is repeated in the passage. The author uses this to convey how life on the island is unsteady, long, and difficult. The passage uses descriptive writing to tell how midday looks like. One idea was that kept silent was the description of the empty horizon. Talk about how there are no ships and the children were losing hope as days progressed and no more ships came. He said it was called a mirage. It shows that he is intelligent and represents wisdom, science, and technology. The imagery in the passage appeals to the seeing sense. It shows how it looks like, and it shows that the boys are pretty much speechless by either fear of the unknown or just out of hopelessness. The scene is described by an omniscient. It hints at human nature and what is to come. For the stunted palms, I believe it hints at victory for rescue and peace between the boys would be foolish and unachievable. Palms symbolize victory, peace, and success in many cultures. There will be two possible endings for this journey, and it would quiver, which stated in the text, which might mean that it is uncertain and the fate is uncertain too, like raindrops on the wire. In real life, when raindrops on wires, they have to cling tight and will be at risk of dripping off. This is because the wires are thin and hard to hold raindrops. If the wire were chances of survival and raindrops are the boys, then the chances of everyone safely traveling from one end of the wire to the other end is sleek, just like the palm trees and on the other hand, if they continue life like this, the real human nature would become all successions of mirrors. Mirrors symbolize self-knowledge and the truth. The truth would become distorted and similar acts of crime would repeat itself, like Piggy and Simon were killed. The boys would become further away from civilization. Since it says odd successions, it shows that this human nature emerged would become these self-knowledge or self-consciousness would be lost as time passes. The civilized surface of the boys would peel off and reveal the animal-like savages that they are in the deep end. The part where just as they ignore the miraculous throbbing stars, it shows that the boys are ignoring reality and the truth while it stares at them in the face. Since the land in the illusion is too hard to reach and there are sharks, the boys just decide to ignore it and continue life. They're starting to forget little things in life and slowly they're deforming into savages and mindless animals whose only goal is to hunt and will never remember what civilization is like.